in a comp like this too, because yes, he's very tanky and he can engage very well, but now you're playing the Cassante into a Gnar matchup where the laning phase could be a little bit rough, and you're not trying to ult somebody out in this comp necessarily. You're really just trying to be a frontline as the top laner and as the Sejuani in a lot of ways for the Zeri Victor. So this comp for Kwangdong feels like a better version in terms of the damage output and consistency and range damage in the late game, but a worse version if the early game goes the same way, because you are not going to be able to shape the map with Cassante the same way you did with the Jax.
I would totally agree with what you just said there. You know, Kwangdong, the only changes across the two lineups of 5 champions was Cassante and Victor. That's it. Everything else is exactly the same, so they will have better range and better power to like not get kited around in team fights, kind of like they did with their very low range in game number 1. But instead, they lose a lot of what they had, right, in game number 1 with some of the side lane pressure and stuff like that. They do gain, of course, the scaling, so that is going to be pretty interesting. I know that, you know, as we have said before, this is Humpty the Turtle, by the way.
Yeah.
We've said it before, you know, CV Max, he's treating Spring like one big scrim. So I thought, you know, maybe that would be cool. Just play the same exact thing. And, you know, you spent 10, 15 minutes during the downtime, during the break, going over everything that went wrong. So, like, okay, run it again. I was like, oh, you know, that's kind of an interesting idea. Actually gets them a good amount of practice, regardless of the result.
But, you know, that's where the Jax span comes through, right?
Yeah.
Which means that Breon have just figured out, like, damn, they're running it back again, but the only problem we had was dealing with that split push. If we just remove the Fiora and the Jax from the equation, they could play Camille. There are a few other champions that are viable, but they don't work as well in this composition. Great adaptation from Bro.
Absolutely. Here we go. Game number 2. Here we go. Back onto the Rift. Only changes are Victor and Cassante. Same sides.
If there's one thing I'm going to trust, is that Bulldog's going to have a great laning phase, and he's going to have good game sense about Umpty here on this Maokai. He's not going to get punished early. He's going to get his first item relatively unscathed. Like, I'm ready to trust that. I'm ready to believe that. I also feel like Dudu, even though the Cassante matchup has sometimes gone Gnar favored, is going to handle the pressure in the lane early with the range matchup that he has to deal with. He's going to start doing fine in those first few team fights. But where I'm not ready to trust just yet, you know, where I'm still need a little bit more time, is how Taeyun and Mom are going to play this one, right? We could have had a substitution of June, who's got obviously a lot more synergy with Taeyun into the roster. It is a Yuumi game. And clearly, CV Max said, this is how we're going to play this series. How the game 1 went, be damned, we're doing this. So, you know, it's not shocking that he didn't change it up, because he changed only the other parts he was forced to change in the draft. So, let's wait and see, because this is the bottom part of the map where it's crazy to say this, but like I trust Hannah more than the enemy laner. He's improved a lot over the offseason, and his Lucian, the only champion he's played this season, is great so far. 3-0. And he's been pretty consistent in the mid-game.
He's been good. That trade, you know, you were doing a little bit of a mini caster curse there. Not the best trade for Henna, but that's okay. Again, the lane, very similar spot. And guess what? Umpty, same jungle path. So I think a change we could see is maybe Youngjae coming down to the bottom side earlier, or just an earlier ward from the side of the Kwangdong bottom lane, or, like we see here, bit of a faster push into the ward, so that allows you to stay safe.
What you want to do with this ward here is ward the actual entrance to the Drake pit, so that he can't actually flash that Drake wall without you knowing about it.
Here.
He could. I mean, and they know that Taeyun warded it. Like, that actually could. Oh my God, Valdez. No way.
Yes. Yes way.
No.
Yes.
No. Umpty.
Yes.
The Giga Chad himself.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, he's got some extra range this time, but there's the Twisted Advance, and it's not quite enough damage. So Taeyun and Mob do get out, and they do have to blow every single summoner that they do have, but at least they survive this time.
Yeah. And, well, they survive. And he's got a cat on his back, so he's going to be able to heal up pretty quickly, relatively quickly here. So it's not like he's just shoved out of the lane and is going to lose a ton of CS. This is why Hannah is trying to hold the wave here to be very obnoxious. Caster Curse him on that minion again for just a second. Mini Caster Curse is here only today. And yeah, I thought that was really cool from Umpty because they knew exactly where the ward was placed. Never make the same move twice anyways, but you know, this time you ward the mouth of the Drake Pit. Go into the other place where you know there isn't a ward because you have a ward to verify that. That was cool.
Effort just getting some gold there at the end before he is going to probably back with his bottom laner.
Little spell thief action.
Yes.
Triple longsword early here with this back timing for Henna. They don't get the big spike of money, but it's enough with this back timing to grab 3 longswords and just push hard.
Yeah, could probably go for an early Dirk. Try to get some of that early pressure in the lane. This is a long time ago, but the Brutalizer used to be similar in that facet. You just build that early.
Yeah, that's a throwback.
Yeah, it's a real throwback. Some of the young kids in the chat probably don't know. Some of you Giga Chads out there, you know.
It was a very ugly item. It was like a bad walking stick. I don't even know what it was. It was a weird walking stick, right? Like or something. I don't know.
I think.
But
I don't really know what Brutalizer was.
I just think that I'm sure Atlas has got the lore for us.
Yeah. Get Papa Smithy on the phone. He'll know.
Well, it's time to remake that one in Static Shiv now, right? After we got Rod of Ages back. Let's bring them all back.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't leave those items hanging. It's like Prospector from Toy Story 2, like just on the shelf. It's like just waiting and waiting and waiting.
What's that other one? Was it called Heart of Gold?
Yeah.
I think that was the name of it. You just buy that and you just chill in lane and just get a ton of gold for free.
Any Wardstone enjoyers, you know?
Yeah. I don't know about that one. Kind of like the state of Vision in League. I think it's okay. At least they don't have any unique new ideas.
This started off pretty well for Dudu, but he's just taken some bad hyper procs here and is now going to lose control. Interesting.
Weird.
Just getting a bit aggressive there in range, especially as level 6 and that Narbar were coming up. I was starting to get concerned.
He's doing this again where he's really in the face of Young Jay. There's
Trap.
another one. Set it up ahead of time. And now he's got Karis, who's level 6. They could kill Young Jay here. Young Jay does have flash, though, and he reads it. But how about
they can
the
kill
bottom
Taeyun.
lane? Well, they can certainly threaten it. There are no summoners.
Bulldog has no TP.
On Taeyun, at least. We do have Exhaust for the cat. As Umpty is going to get this. He gets exhausted, is just going to go onto the Yuumi, but he might have to go down here. First blood is given to the Lucian, but at least they can trade it back.
We'll grab a plate here, too. And all the while, Bulldog is pushing mid. So a lot of CS here lost for Karis. He cannot teleport back to lane. Bulldog is going to grab a plate. So at the end of the day here, a fairly even exchange, and arguably gold-wise, definitely Guangdong Freaks getting the more spread of it. And, you know, 1 kill for Azeri, extra plate for this Victor feels pretty nice. We'll see what Henna could do with the extra gold he's gotten. It's going to push him towards that Dirk you were talking about and the early Noon Quiver. So one step closer to Gale for us as we'll watch this one more time. Umpty takes aggro. The exhaust is perfectly timed here. And it's really difficult to juggle all of this when you have CC here coming over in the form of Young Jay too. But the exhaust is the big problem. Just knocks Umpty up. He's dead. It's a trade of 1-to-1. But the other caveat is, of course, seen on the mini-map, that Victor push.
Yeah, absolutely. As nice little stun here. Umpty doesn't even look. He's not interested with that. All he cares about is his top camps. And, you know, with the new jungle the way it is, you guys should be concerned with your camps as well. Don't want to fall too far behind. Note that Umpty currently is 5 of those, whatchamacallits, the spirits.
Pet charges.
Yeah. In the jungle, so he's got to farm some of that up.
Get some treats.
There you go. Treats.
And his pet's, you know, feel a little hungry after dying under turret down there, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Call pickup, by the way, for Morgan after handling that initial pressure very well. Still behind in CS, but it's going to help him catch up in terms of some of that money. I think it's a great item since he got his steel caps. It's pretty gold efficient for what he's trying to do in this lane.
see if they get baited into this one. Henna and Efforts might get flanked a little bit as Umpty may have not been spotted actually in mid. He walked across when that wave pushed. There were some pings, but I think that was missing pings onto Syndra. Now he will be spotted. Youngjae's up a level.
Yeah.
So he has farmed a bit better.
Exactly. All the time Umpty has spent trying to put the pressure on has cost him some of those treats, but more significantly, I think at this stage, the level 6, which means he can't fight here at all whatsoever, can't actually look for a gank bottom side. So a lot of pressure relieved here onto Taeyun. Still a little bit of CS behind, but this is quite normal. And this early game has gone a lot better for this area this time around.
That's definitely a nice feel for him. Youngjae this time, there's a ward on this Rift Herald. Remember, game 1, Umpty got a very early gank, then he got a very early Drake, and then they were able to roll that into the first Herald as well. It's not the case in this game. Yes, Umpty might be able to get this Drake, but it will be traded back as Youngjae has done a nice job of just moving straight up to the Rift Herald. This is, of course, seen by Brion, so a much more even game state here for game 2.
Karis and Bulldog here just having a calm lane. Like I said, Bulldog handling this well. Couldn't come down in that fight bottom side, but didn't really need to. Grab the plate, so has a lot of extra money here. Trying to track Umpty right now. See the pings coming through as Bulldogs got the idea. Clearing vision. And there's so much potential for dive here, right? Umpty's just trying to stay hidden, trying to look for that dive, but look who's matching. Youngjae's like, okay, you saw him, I'm pathing bottom here. It's going to allow them to back. Brion just want to force any sort of pick they can to get Henna further ahead here in this game. And they're coming up empty this time. Youngjae didn't feel as much pressure as he did in the first game from Umpty. The gank wasn't successful in terms of a kill. Umpty died in that, super hard dive they went for their bottom side. So, there's a lot more space here in this game for Kwangdong Freak's leader, Drake, as you mentioned moments ago. So yeah, Drake lead for Brion. However, it's not a really big rush to soul or anything like that.
Trying to take some big trades here. He's going to get the stun onto Karis. But no big follow-up from Youngjae. There was actually a chance he could have, flash, dash, ult straight onto Karis. Maybe even force the flash. But instead, he's just going to calmly drop the Rift Herald. Both of these teams seemingly, just okay to sit back, relax. Of course, the scaling on Kwangdong, but also it's bro. So that's just what we're doing here in this game.
That's all the analysis we need on that one. We'll pick up the gold calmly without using any summoners. Still gets to hold his TP. Karis matching right now as they both go for a back here. Heading towards the Rod of Ages is Bulldog. We'll see if it's the same Leandri's build this time for Karis. I expect it will be, considering how things started. And, this is a very calm early game, which favors Kwangdong Freaks quite significantly in what their comp is trying to do. Faster Mythic here for Dudu as Taeyun.
Hey, is going in again. Tidal Wave dodge. Youngjae's here. Yet again, now it's kind of him, or he, rather, that is shadowing Umpty. Doesn't amount to too much because Brion, they just decide, okay, you know what? We still don't like fighting, so we're just not going to do that.
I wasn't kidding when I said I was going to trust Bulldog in this laning phase, but he got a small lead, and he is really pushing the advantages. Taeyun's going to be fine here. You can really just feel how much more comfort Taeyun has and how much more resources he's been given this game to actually play this area into the solution. Not playing scared. Control ward vision in the river in both Frybrush and the actual entrance to the river itself right now, meaning that he knows he's safe to push up and go for trades like this while Bulldog pushes these waves in. So much extra plate gold. And look at this.
Yeah, nice little chunk onto Henna. I feel he's kind of considering going in, actually, but not a huge amount of vision. They are going to see Youngjae up on the top side eventually, if he does gank. As he is considering it, but it looks like Morgan's playing very passively, so no gank to happen.
Boldness not commit. As Taeyun has Moham's ult, but isn't going to be able to commit anything further himself for a few more seconds here. Karis is under so much pressure in this lane. It has not been a free game, and with the Catalyst on Victor, you can, you know, obviously spam your spells and be a little bit more obnoxious as well. Take trades, get that mana back.
Yeah, it's just a great item.
Yeah, it's pretty good right
Catalyst, and then Rod, eventually. Whereas you've got a whole mix of things here for Karis. Top lane is still going on. I'm glad we got to confirm that.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
They're both still connected.
Morgan missed that cannon. Unfortunate. Yeah, that's about all we got up here. Dudu did not buy Cull, so that's also one difference.
Yep, a lot of the minion difference here in the CS going to be caught up here by Morgan once that Cull does complete. And on the bottom side, once again, Hannah just trying to zone this duo away, doesn't have effort with him, so needs to be very careful. Prowling projectile accuracy pretty good here from Moham in this laning phase, so the ends of it. His plates have faded away. We're going to see a fight here in 15 seconds for this Drake.
Effort just kind of caught, and Umti's trying to help out here, but now the gravity field is going to come down. We have to have the Maokai ultimate, but it's not enough to peel for the poor mermaid that is Nami. I think Effort was just trying to ward over the wall and got a bit caught, and Youngjae was right there to punish.
Yeah, I'd love to see how that fight started off here, as the plate gold is pretty massively in favor of Kwangdong Freaks here, but all of it on that Victor. Sejuani getting a tiny piece of it. But yeah, I am curious how that started off for Effort. We're going to see an ult here from Morgan.
And he's going on in. He's looking for this kill. He's under the turret. Dudu just taking a pretty nice amount of damage, but he resets the aggro. He's still going in on this one. He gets really close, but he can't get the kill, and Morgan is going to win in this top trade.
Yep. Good flash there. Holds it to the last possible second. Really well managed here by Morgan. Somebody just spammed a bunch of pings. I heard that. I don't know what it was. Somebody's respawning or something. Might have been
flash down for Morgan, perhaps.
Yeah, that's probably the one. Either that or just spamming Morgan's alive. Oh, so Effort here just deep to look for the ward over the wall and gets caught. Just as simple as that. Committing a summoner as well to try to get out. Still going to get caught by the Sejuani ult. And the kill given over to Taeyun. Well played by Kwangdong Freaks. Good punish there around Drake spawn. As we're not done in live, so not going to get too into the weeds on this replay.
He found an opportunity, got him really low, was close.
Yeah, just a good flash here at the last possible second. Dodges that Q as well. Clean stuff. 10 stacks still left on that Cobra. Almost complete on that.
Taking a little bit. Yeah, 2-1 for the Zeri. Once the shield bow completed. Henna also with the Gale Force and the Dirk. No upgraded boots for him, but that's okay.
This is the kind of game that, as CV Max and as a Kwangdong fan, you kind of get a little bit of trust, and you're not rolling your eyes as much at the salty run back in the draft, because you're like, okay, yeah, they lost the split push condition that almost saved them when they lost the Zeri aspect of the game and fell super far behind. But they play the same draft, play it better this time, and they're so much more comfortable, slightly ahead in gold. Don't need necessarily a split push win condition this time, as here comes
what's
the dive.
going on here? Dan, what do we do?
TP.
Okay, the TP comes in. The damage is still there. Henna is going to get out, and Dudu is now down a TP. And Youngjae randomly going to be found here by Morgan out in the river, it looks like. He's not going to be diving in, but yeah, just suppose he thought he could be saved by Moham running up the lane and maybe a TP.
Yeah, unfortunately not to be the case here. A bit of a caster curse. But what I was going to say was it's going a lot better than last time, and it doesn't always go this way when you run drafts back, but Zeri's even in items with Henna until that moment. Looking very good for a mid-game Zeri to actually have a little bit more stability as we head towards the later aspects of her 2 and 3 items, and the Victor, of course, coming online. Yeah, just comes back here, unfortunately, to the turret. Doesn't actually avoid this ultimate. He has no vision whatsoever. Just felt safe with Dudu holding teleport, and then Dudu commits TP too late. Losing a lot here. They will get mid-turret.
Yeah, looks like they didn't even have to use the Rift Herald for that. At first I assumed they had, but then I checked the inventory and Youngjae still got that one. So they could even try to go for a quick rotation elsewhere, try to drop that down, perhaps, and get some more map control. There's really basically no turret damage done by Bro to Kwangdong's turrets. So it's feeling pretty good for Kwangdong and their map control at this point in time. Might look to try to pick up some of those Infernal Drakes that we will have here, and those will be huge for either side, but especially for the scaling on the side of Kwangdong.
Yeah. Taeyun now finally in the mid lane. We've gotten to that point. Stayed bottom side for quite some time there and was punished there. But we'll be able to farm freely here in mid. Remember last game he was basically farming on the husk of the inner turret through a lot of the game, trying to get those items as was highlighted by us on the cast. And then you did see that graphic that Kronka set up there on the formerly carpet space where he was just so far behind in items and couldn't fight, couldn't have an impact on the game. I think that with the game state as it is right now, this next fight is going to be super critical over this Drake, because if Kwangdong Freaks win it convincingly, it actually starts to become very difficult for Breon to come back, especially because Karis is not as accelerated as he was last game either, and this is going to be this turret being committed to, Umpty ready with ult to try to punish, but I think they're just going to easily take this one down and get out of here. It's just not a big enough window for punish and no real vision here for Umpty around who's behind Youngjae right now. Has to back away.
Yeah, that's the power of 2 Rift Heralds in the same game. Just able to break down 2 of these turrets extremely early on. And now Henna can't be as obnoxious in the mid lane because he doesn't have this big turret. He can't quite push up as far. It allows safer farming for Taeyun. It's all these little things in Pro that can sometimes get you the big victory. So now TB going to be committed into the mid lane. Looks like Bro wants to fight here for this Infernal, as the culling will come out a decent amount of damage, but Youngjae, he's got a cat, he's got a Warmogs.
And they've got a lot of poke here too with this Victor, and the Warmog's going to come back through. Bulldog doing a lot of damage here, and Gnar losing Bar. Morgan on the bottom side of the map no longer has that. Dudu's still holding ult, so the collapse here is possible.
Okay, he's going to actually bait out the Chaos Storm, but he's also going to bait his jungler as Moham gets extremely low, hopping off there for a sec.
Question mark ping from Dudu instantly as they know Morgan is rotating up, but they also know he has no Gnar bar. So a risky choice here, but can start building one up around this Drake. Crazy how close these skirmishes have gone, but Kwangdong Freak's getting a pretty massive edge here as that wave crashes into the bottom turret.
Yeah, no Chaos Storm, but you can see the effect of it as Bulldog's just trading back so well. The double scatter is going to miss onto the Victor. And this level 13 Victor with a cat on a book is just a huge menace. I'm not sure about Bro going in for this, but they do have, oh, the stun was massive from Youngjae to stop the follow-up from Morgan. And that means that, meanwhile, Dudu's just taking a turret, by the way. He's like, yeah, you know, you guys don't need me. We're going to win that one anyway, and it's actually a good read because they didn't need him. Kwangdong Freaks take control of the river, and they should get this Infernal.
Now, Breon do have a control ward there on the Baron pit, so there's a little bit of a possibility they could try to make something happen here, but the health bars are too low. They don't have any real ultimates for the turn here. They're all coming back online. Umpty's not here. Morgan using his in the previous engage. Doesn't have Gnar bar or anything like that. So this is just going to be Kwangdong Freaks winning the war of attrition and taking this Drake away. That stun that you mentioned from Youngjae was amazing because with Morgan's ult actually landing, this is a disaster and actually a one fight for Breon. But look at the split here, and Youngjae is just blocking this instantly. Taeyun just barely gets out as Bulldog pulls back too, and that's it. Once your engage is gone here, you just don't have the long-term damage to compete anymore, especially with those health bars.
Yeah. And that's all it took. The health bars have been chipped away way too much before that even happened, so there you go. 6% attack damage and ability power right now for the side of Kwangdong Freaks, and there will be more to come, as it is the Infernal Rift this time. And the Victor and the Zeri are only going to get stronger.
Yeah. Morgan just going to grab a turret down here, so we'll pick up some extra money, but not that significant in the grand scheme of things here. You can see he's about 600 gold up over the Cassante, but as we saw in that last fight, if you get outplayed, no matter how much gold you have, your ult doesn't go off there. I mean, it kind of matters, but on this on this case, not the state of the game. As we're going to go to a bit of a lull state here.
Maybe not. The
maybe
Lucian
not.
finds his moment and nearly cuts off Taeyun's head, but of course, there is a Yuumi there to help out.
Now, I mean, that's a lot of damage onto this Zeri, but it's not, because of the Yuumi, permanent enough to say, all right, we could try to use this trade to go for a Baron. In fact, Henna being down his ultimate now, so Kwangdong Freak's going to take this opportunity to push through and clear up vision around said Baron. TPs for both top laners available. This could become a fight here. And I think that given Henna's items right now, he would like to try to force it, which is why he made that play, but his culling is just so far away now. It's not a massive cooldown on this ultimate, but he's level 12, you know, and this Baron is impending potentially here, and so much vision now wrestled away.
Feels like they're fighting over vision here, but also over this red buff. Umpty trying to be a tank of the front line, but the support is not great for him as red buff is secured by Taeyun, and Umpty's getting incredibly low. Bro just wants to back away. They did not feel comfortable to take that fight down.
It's going to be pushed away. Kara's farming here, but despite the win here on the red buff and the vision, they're not actually going to start up Baron. You know, we're 24 minutes in, but need to be completely set up for turn, right? All these ultimates on cooldown. Zeri without her IE. So just gonna wait, play it safe and slow here. Both of these teams love to do this.
Yeah, we still got like 25 minutes left in this one, so, you know, might be a good opportunity to grab some popcorn if you haven't already. Yeah, should be better about prepping for these kinds of series.
Yeah. Well, I adopted you and Caster Jun's sweatpants meta.
Yes.
I'm wearing sweatpants today on the cast.
It's the meta.
My first time, and it's pretty sweet, not gonna lie.
Yeah, you did give away the secret that we do, in fact, wear pants on the broadcast. Generally,
not always.
Can't see that. Well,
not always.
Not always. But when we do, generally sweatpants are good because they're comfortable. It's not seen on the broadcast. It's not unprofessional, anything like that.
I mean, effort. Who knows what he's wearing right now?
We don't when we're on the space, the no longer carpet space. Because, of course, the pants show. As here we go again. Culling this time. Taeyun has to flash. Still a huge amount of damage. Moham was not there.
Gets flash, shield bow cooldown. So this is a huge opportunity. While he's probably going to have to back, he's under so much threat here. You've got to be careful. I mean, tidal wave is up.
It's okay. He's got you.
But no flash, man. He's under. He's in a scary spot right now. I am concerned for him. This is Brion tunneling mid a little bit again, as we saw in the previous game, but getting a little bit more out of it this time around.
Yeah.
The observers are like having the same kind of panic as I am whenever some squishy target doesn't have a lot of defenses walking up around a Maokai. I'm like, careful, Bulldog. He's level 16 now. His rod is completed. Seraphs is still stacking.
There it is. IE. Ready for Henna, not ready for Taeyun, and now Taeyun doesn't have flash. If there was a timing for Brion to really push the envelope, again, I'm not even sure that they will, but if there were, let's first see if he picks up his. Nope,
I don't think
not
so.
have IE.
He doesn't have enough money yet.
This would be the time, and guess what? Infernal Drake is spawning in 20 seconds, so Brion, a very nice timing for them.
I mean, with the back timing here, Taeyun being flashless, you could set a trap. Look at where Umpty's standing.
Oh, that scatter. That scatter was so close, but now Henna's in a lot of trouble. Or not Henna, Kara is just in a lot of trouble. He has to get out of here as Dudu is trying to follow up. This is not the fight pro we're looking for, but it is perfect for Kwangdong as immediately the K'Sante is blown up, actually, but still the chase much better on the side of KDF as they are able to get in. So much for that timing as Kwangdong are able to make the best of it.
So many types of engage here. The scatter misses. Oh, Morgan,
he's trying to make this happen, actually, in Meganar. He is going to make it happen into the wall as Morgan baits them into that one, but Bulldog is so incredibly strong. They're all kind of running away from him.
He's got a cat on his back.
Yeah, so Morgan's going to be the sacrifice here, it looks like, as he does get zippity zapped down, but the rest of them, at least, will survive, I guess.
With this build, he can't do Drake by himself or anything like that. He's level 17. Doesn't have Leandri's. Still be pretty questionable to start the Drake even if he did, but with this build, I think he's just going to be leaving it as it is. As a scatter misses just barely here, and Karis takes a ton of damage. The follow-up is there. And Karis completely out of this fight. The Maokai ultimate is used defensively here, but it only blocks out part of the damage, doesn't actually block the engage. Youngdae gets on top of him, locks down effort, actually, which was kind of greedy. They wanted the double here. They'll only end up getting the one. And perhaps he didn't realize he had already used his tidal wave. But this is the hero play from Morgan.
Bro's doing Baron.
Yep, they're going to start it up.
Play from Morgan, though, as you mentioned.
Amazing.
Heroic. TPs are coming in, and the turn still good. The scatter is there on this side as the damage is in onto Youngjae, but now Bulldog is here looking to zippity zap once again. As we got another one of those zappers in the form of the Zeri. So, Breon, by the way, the Infernal Drake still not taken.
Still not taken. Looks like Kwangdong are actually just going to try to push mid and grab this inhibitor turret at the very least while these backs are going off top side.
This game, I can already tell, is going to be just as crazy as the first one. We're already in it.
Morgan almost has his bar. I don't know if you can get this inhibitor as everyone's backs are finishing. You get the turret. We know that. Gonna try it for this.
We're going to get the turret as Karis is still top. No TP.
Yeah, no TP. Just going to grab this turret back.
Okay, gets the gold.
Wants that Void Staff so desperately right now.
They're going to give over Infernal, I guess.
It's not Soul, it's Soul Point. And Breon doesn't care unless it's Soul or it's an Elder.
They're running to Baron.
And because Karis did not back and actually took the turret down and pushed a wave, they have complete control over this now. This is seen, of course, by the control ward, and the Scuttle.
Okay, I thought they were going to do it, but yeah, the Scuttle Crab, as you mentioned, is huge. No Scuttle Crab, they probably start it and look for a turn. So instead, they just give the Infernal Drake to Kwangdong.
Hey, but Karis got an extra wave and the turret top side.
Hey.
It's not all bad. It's not all bad, Valdez. So we look at the happy things, the positives here. At least that's my new motto for 2023, okay? That's one of my LCK resolutions for 2023.
Nice.
And as a result, you know, Kwangdong Freaks here sitting on Soul Point, have a lot of extra pressure now. Zeri on 3 items, but it feels like this game is about the victor more than anything else, as Taeyun's had some good ults, and his slows have actually been pretty nice to help facilitate Bulldog, and it really does feel like a lot of these fights are about Youngjae catching somebody, so Breon need to be more careful about vision and more careful about getting caught out. And Henna is 4-0-1, but his attempts to assassinate targets haven't actually come up big once we hit the later parts of the mid game. And now that we've gone full late game, he is on 4 items, but how much can he really carry in these fights? The setup needs to be a little bit better.
The Seraphs is still not complete.
Yeah, this is kind of
Bulldog.
Weird. It almost seems like bugged or something. I'm like, he has 320 CS. Like,
he's been down. I think he bought it very late, and now he's at 333. So he's just trying to get it before the fight begins, I guess. But he's gotten a lot of other things, including a death cap.
Youngjae, let me touch that. All right, 3 more.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it feels like it was at like 280 a million years ago. And now he's 339. Still a ways away, but very close. He's got his death cap first. This is just very unusual.
All right, Bro's turn to move in, clear vision. Tane's got his flashback, but Henna, you can see he's looking for it.
Got to be so careful when you don't know where Youngjae is, making moves like that as Henna. You do have Flash and Cleanse, but if you get caught by that Sejuani ult, you're not going to have it for the follow-up fight, which means you're going to be practically useless, as this Victor can basically one-shot you at this point. And the tussle around vision continues. Kwangdong Freaks with some deeper wards on the right side that Bro are going to now clean.
Oh! No! All right, he needs 2 more taps.
Or hit a champion. And, all right, this is the most fun part of this game now.
He's about to get his Seraphs. It is extremely important
for
the next fight, so...
It will really boost what he's able to do, and there it is.
Nice.
Plus 90 also there. I mean, 2 minutes on this Infernal Drake. Every time Breon try to push that bottom side and group up around there, feels like there's an opportunity for Kwangdong to set up an amazing Baron start and turn.
Okay, this is looking to be turned by Taeyun, actually, as they flash ult in from Youngjae. Effort in a bit of trouble, but a lot used here by Kwangdong as they try to get in onto Henna. He'll be forced to flash away.
Those are those summoners I was talking about, but Umpty's here for the trap.
All right, they're trying to get Youngjae, it looks like, or at least somebody on this front line, as Morgan trying to build this one up, and now Umpty has to flash away. And Morgan, you know, he's got this Mega Dart, but there's no support because there's just been way too much damage done.
Youngjae's got Warmog, so he's going to heal back up very quickly here. And this did not work out whatsoever. So many tools down for Bro now. I think they might just push to end. I mean, there's no flash on Henna. There's no Maokai ult. They can at least get this inhibitor.
Yeah.
And kite back to Baron. They have such a nice advantage right now.
Inhibitor.
Oh, inhibitor, get that inhibitor.
Inhibitor.
Kite back. And get the inhibitor and kite back. I said, no more auto.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's rough. I mean, the poke and the kite back from Bro is quite strong. Some of their entries to these team fights have been abhorrent.
The way that
I want to see this again.
the way that Henna decided to start that off put himself at risk of Youngjae's ult, right? Like, literally, I mentioned this moments before. He has to cleanse, then has to flash, and then Umpty's like, all right, we got him up here, we've got him trapped. But it was actually really well handled by Quantum Freaks, where they just take the first part and then walk through the gap in his ultimate and get away pretty easily. And then he has to flash as they turn on him, and then that's the end of that. They push through, do not get the inhibitor.
Here we go again. Sejuani ultimate up again. Umpty is tanky, but is he tanky enough is the question. In goes the Cassante, but we do have the stopwatches either way. And the knockup comes out from Dudu onto the Lucian, and that should do it. As Dudu is able to be heroic at the very end. We will have a TP into the base, but it's 5 members of Kwangdong that will push mid.
Looks like we're going to a game 3, our second of the season, Valdez. Losing that flash and the cleanse earlier from Henna, coming back big here in this final fight as he is collapsed on. Great stopwatch.
No minion wave.
I'm doing the casting closing, though.
No.
It's like a blessing. It means they win.
Karis
here it
has
comes.
full mana. They're trying to zone him away. As this is a cannon wave. Big scan of the week. They're going to get the first one. Morgan, he's got the Meganar, and they're taking so much damage as he's trying to get the stuns in. That is going to be 3, but that's not the stuns he was looking for into the wall. As here comes the Nami, but they'll just focus the Nexus, and that will be good enough. Kwangdong Freaks will take game number 2.
This series, it just keeps on giving, Valdez. It's not going home tonight, not until a third decider match. And we'll see if CV Max wants to run it back one more time, as this time it will, of course, be Bro's side selection, as he looks a lot more happy about how this game,
yeah.
He looks a little bit more happy about how that went, but good punish there onto Henna, you know, taking away his flash meant that they could start up that Baron and get that kill. Good stopwatch timing there, you know, matching Umpty's, but then getting on top of the 80 carry. And I think the biggest change, like we didn't talk about how there was some macro mistakes and some errors in the wave management and stuff around Baron and some passive play. But one thing I think we could say 100%